Let me see if I can find a pretty short astrology video. Most of the ones I have been learning from are not very short. So, oh, I know one guy that has pretty he like gets to the point. He's an astrologer that I really like. And this is for you, Space, since he just uploaded this a little while ago. It's only 15 minutes too.
What's poppin', YouTuber? Welcome to my channel. Finesse. It's your boy Lil Finesse Jiggy Hippie, back with another video for y'all. And this video right here is gonna be part 2 of my Through the Energy Sign series, moving on to Gemini energy. And I'll pause for the cause. If you don't know, if you have a lot of Gemini energy in your chart, if you're a brand new subscriber, if you're just starting off your journey of self-love, self-knowledge, self-improvement, self-awareness of yourself through astrology and numerology, if nobody puts you on as to why it's so important that you have to understand and learn these things, don't worry, I got you. But there's a couple of videos. I put the link in the description. You have to watch them first so you can become hip to the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about right now. So, without further ado, let's just get it popping, shall we? Alright, so boom, Gemini energy, the twins. So now moving on, as I stated on the part 2s of these videos, is every single sign goes through the life cycle of the human cycle, because we are spiritual beings living a human experience. So we went from the Aries, which is a toddler, which is the baby. We went from Aries, which is the baby, needs that attention, very kind of selfish in their wants and needs. Moved on to the Taurus, which is a toddler. Their possessions that I have, toddlers have a lot of toys. And now we're at the Gemini. Now, what does Gemini stand for in the life cycle of the zodiac of the human experience? Gemini is going to be like the preschool age, or the age where the child first learns how to speak full sentences. And the reason why I gave the Gemini this is, I'm going to break it down more in this video. First of all, let's go through the basics, get that over with. Gemini is a mutable sign. Gemini, the third sign of the zodiac. Gemini is ruled by the planet of Mercury. Now, what does mutable mean for those who don't know? Mutable means likely to change, easier to change, and wants to change. It thrives in being able to adjust its energy depending on their environment, depending on the situation. So mutable wants and loves and thrives to change. Now, being ruled by Mercury, as we already know, the planet Mercury represents our mental capacity, our communication, the way we think, and how we get it out through words, speech, communication. So it's like our communication planet. It's the fastest planet in the solar system. It moves the fastest. So when you put the Mercury planet into characteristics of our human selves, our spiritual selves, it's the way our mind moves, how our mind moves quick, fast. Mercury represents communication and the quickness of thinking and quickness of our wit. Now, why did I give Gemini the preschool era, or the preschool area in our life, as in the preschool stage in our human existence? What happens to a child when they first are able to speak full sentences is they ask hella questions. I don't have any kids or anything, but I've been around a lot of kids during this age, or I know a lot of parents that tell me how much, like, they could be driving and the kid will ask, why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why is this? Like, just ask the most randomest questions. But the thing about that stage in your life when you're first able to communicate and talk is they are extremely curious about everything, curious about life. Now, babies naturally are curious about life, but they can't really express it. They're just, walking around, crawling around, like looking at their environment. But as soon as they can speak, as soon as they can say full sentences, they're asking questions and they're extremely curious. So now, what does that got to do with Gemini?
You were the quietest kid?
Gemini is extremely curious about everything around them, about life, which is why they have the stigma of talking all the time, which is why they have the stigma of being flighty, being non-reliable all the time, which is why they are mutable, because they're willing to change. But what does that mean? Knowing that Gemini energy is very curious. If you're dealing with Gemini, or if you yourself have a lot of Gemini energy, what does that mean? These people, they look at life as in they want to learn everything and as much as they can at one time. Very good at multitasking too. But the main thing about them is the curiosity factor. Everything about life, they want to question it, they want to learn about it, they want to research it, they want to ask questions. When they're talking to people, which they are extremely good at communicating for a reason, ruled by Mercury. When they're talking to people, and they're really good at small talk too. Being able to be good at small talk is being able to be curious about that person and what they're going through, or that person in the moment, asking the right questions, listening, and also responding. They're really good at multitasking. So the reason why they're good at conversating is to converse. You have to be able to listen, to understand, and to reply and speak, and they can do all that at the same time. So they love being able to be curious about life. Being mutable means they thrive in being able to go into different situations and to be able to change and adjust and to correlate with their environment. They are the twins. They are the signs of the two sides, light and dark. You could say duality. You could say too. They do not thrive in being in a too stable of environment that they know is going to happen, because they have to exercise that mutable muscle in them. So if you're dealing with a Gemini person, or if you're dealing with a person with a lot of Gemini energy, understand that if you're the type that is not curious about life, as in you don't like to try new things, you're not questioning things, you're not trying to grow as a person, you're just like, you're just steady and stable in your way, or stuck in your way, or you're okay with doing the same thing every day. You're not really into jumping out the box and doing something different. If you're dealing with a highly Gemini-esque person in their chart, that's where that boredom factor comes in. That's where that flighty nature comes in. That's where their curiosity, as in like they already figured you out because you're doing the same thing all the time. You're not really breaking out. You're not really going outside your comfort zone. You're not really doing something different. So they already figured you out as a person. That's where they start to wander off and ask to be curious about what else is there to offer in this world, because they really thrive on variety. Now, I'm not saying that Gemini-esque energy people cannot be like monogamous or can't be with one person. They definitely can do that if you are also the type that is curious about life, if you're curious about experiences in life and learning new things and being different and growing as a person and just not being stagnant. If you're not the type to be questioning things and asking things and learning about things, that's where they get bored, and that's where they kind of wander off. And they can quickly wander off because they're ruled by the planet Mercury, the quickest planet of our solar system. So their mind quickly wanders off, like quick fast. They're an air sign. Like I said, with air signs,
interesting.
When it comes to air signs and air in general, oxygen, you can't really hold it, you can't see it, you can't really touch it. It's just free flowing, it's free moving. You can't really control it. So the Gemini energy person, they really can't control how their mind wanders off. They really can't control how their mind kind of wants to figure things out and be curious about things. So if they're dealing with you, understand that about them, that they're really quick to like wanting to learn things and do different things and experience things. Experience for them is the biggest thing. The Gemini person is the type that could hang out with like 4 or 3 best friends all in the same day, all at different houses, like go to one house and then go to the next house and go to go to a different event, go to that event, like all in the same day. They can really thrive on being able to change environments, change situations, go on different things.
That's more like Gemini ruling 11th house. I would say a Gemini ruling 11th house folks would be those who would want to be in a lot of conversations with people, talk to multiple people at once. They probably enjoy hearing themselves talk. And that's like, to me, that's Gemini 11th. I would say Gemini 7th house people would be our people with Sagittarius rising, and they have placements in Gemini in the 7th house. Those people are more of one-on-one, meaning they probably don't like big crowds or talking over everyone, but they might be better listeners than others. So, yeah, I know sometimes Geminis are stereotyped as being more the talkers than listeners, but Gemini who are good at listeners really learn and discern information really well. And so they can kind of like, I've actually, one of my close Gemini friends I've had was a great listener. Like, she and I could talk for hours and hours on end because we both love variety, just like that. Pisces are kind of the same way too. We kind of need variety. We get bored easily. I have Mars and Gemini. I get hella bored easily. I'm like always kind of like right now I'm just watching Quinn, but like look at how listen to me, like listen to a podcast at the same time. I have to have something else going on. I can't just like focus on one thing at once. And I'm not even a Gemini sun. I'm a Mars and Gemini. I constantly need some sort of like background music or something to kind of keep my mind going. Otherwise I'll just fall asleep. Like literally if I play Minecraft with nothing doing on, unless I'm like making a crazy design where like I was with my mansion, I need that full. I'll fall asleep, so I have to have something that will intrigue me enough to continue my focus. So I just thought that was interesting, little tidbit. Because when he's saying all this, he's not saying Gemini suns. He's just talking about the energy itself. And so when you talk about just the energy, you can kind of relate it to the houses and planets. Let's say someone has like 3 planets in Gemini in the 7th house or the 6th house. How would that manifest in that person's chart? How would Gemini itself would manifest in the 6th house is also Mercury house. It's the house of routine, daily tasks. It's about critical thinking and like analyzing things, looking into the like breaking down things and trying to like get it to where you can understand it in different little ways and stuff. Like it's very Virgo. It's Virgo energy, and Virgo is all about breaking things down, understanding and focusing on a few things at once. Versus Gemini likes to sort of dabble in all sorts of things. Like they're like they know something well enough, like trivia of stuff, but maybe they don't know a concept fully. So they could do well in trivia questions. I would say a Gemini 3rd house person is probably a trivia person, or 9th house Gemini could be someone who can really know a lot about a lot of stuff at once. It just depends. Like I'm using house placements because it's a little bit easier to understand it. If you have like placements like Venus, Mercury, and Saturn and certain planets, let's say you have those 3, that those people might not only be versatile, but they're also very disciplined in their knowledge and have they're just really, those type of people are probably really good at what they're doing. But it took them a long years of discipline, a lot of love and luck to get through where they was. So that's just an example. If they had Saturn, Venus, and Mercury, honestly, anywhere Gemini is, it will give this person a versatility, a certain like sense of knowledge, and like be able to like sort of adapt to different situations in that area of life. So Gemini is very adaptable. And that's what I really like about Gemini the most, in my personal opinion. They're very adaptable to things, situations. Even if they can still be nice people, they don't like either, which I really like that about them. Because like Scorpios and Taurus, like the fixed signs, they really aren't good at that. But like Geminis, they're pretty good at like, they might not like someone, but I mean, I'm not saying they're going to go out of their way to be friends with them, but they're going to be like, I can tolerate you enough to be at least nice to you and not start drama so much. It's more like, I'm just gonna stay, unless if you wrong them, then they might start drama. But but like for the most part, in my experience of all the Geminis I've ever known, they never really go out of their way to start drama. It's more like they're gonna just say what they're gonna think about it, and sometimes that might get them in trouble, but I mean, they're gonna say what they're gonna think about it, like regardless. They're not like a Cancer who's very like worried about what people think about them. Or a Libra who's always just trying to peak the peace, or an Aquarius that's just trying to keep the group together and trying to think of a picture. Gemini is going to just say what they see, and everyone just has to deal with it. That's kind of like how the Gemini attitude is. I mean, I don't know if you're like that too, Space. Not all Geminis are like that. I know a Gemini that's not like that at all. But she has a moon opposition with their Sag. And so she has a harder time sort of figuring that out. So, depending on the other placements, a Gemini usually can be like that. But if not, it's probably because something in their life kind of made them where they couldn't be like that. And there's more like, instead, they're usually think it, but they might not say it, if that makes sense. So, yeah. All right, let me keep going.
All the same day, because they thrive on being able to be mutable and to be changing and to just like be different and be curious about life. So the biggest thing, like I said, with Gemini energy is a curiosity factor. That's why I gave them the preschooler kind of energy, the stage in life where children ask a lot of questions, talking all the time. They need communication big time. So thrive on communication, being ruled by Mercury. Thrive on being curious about life. You cannot be a boring person, and boring is just being not curious about life, like I said. So,
yeah, exactly.
Like I said in my Gemini, the first part 1 of the Gemini energy, when it comes to them flirting and trying to get with you, try not to get led on by Gemini-esque energy, because they really find identity through themselves, through communication. So they're really good at talking. So they kind of find who they are as a person. They kind of figure out their sexuality as a person through the way that they communicate with others. So in the beginning, don't put emotions into it. Don't be all lovey-dovey in the beginning too much. too much because they really want things to be light and funny and witty and like flirty, as in a light flirtatious way. Don't think that that Gemini person is flirting with you or talking to you in a way that like, damn, that person really likes me, so I'm gonna like we're gonna like having like a fantasy like, oh, we're gonna go together. Like, don't have that fantasy when it comes to them flirting, because they are really good at leading people on through their words and talking. Don't take it seriously at first. Understand that if you go into that situation in a
What's that
lighthearted,
look brown?
type vibe way, not really trying to put too much emotional intensity onto it, that's where Gemini energy thrives, and that's
Another
where,
car.
as time goes on, they will communicate with you if they want things to move forward. They will communicate with you if they're feeling you like that, because Geminis, they don't really hide things. They're really bad at hiding things. Like, you could tell them a secret and be like, don't tell nobody. At low key, high key, it's gonna be hard for them to keep that to themselves. They're really hard. They're really bad at like keeping things to themselves. They just love to express themselves and talk and communicate. So if you're dealing with one in the beginning stages, don't be too heavy emotionally. But you realize over time, like once y'all build that friendship and build that communication, and they also see that you're curious about life, and they see that you love experiencing things, and they see that you're actually a fun person. You're not boring. You're not mundane. You're not stagnant. You're also expressive communicating wise. They will communicate with you. Also, they want to move on that level. So keep that in mind with this placement, as Geminis are very flirty, are very lighthearted in what they're saying and speaking, but they move so free that if you get caught into their words, because they are extremely talented and gifted with the way they use their words, if you get caught in their whirlwind of their words in the beginning, understand that they have mutable energy. They are the twins. They have dual personalities, dual kind of energy. Just don't be too involved in the beginning, because understand that about them, that they're flighty, they're mutable, they love to talk, communicate, they love to experience, and they're very curious. So come into that situation lighthearted, friendship vibe, experience life with them, ask them questions, be curious about their life too, be curious about how they think, and you will see how you can actually build with a Gemini easily. Now, Geminis build easier or get along easier with other air signs and fire signs, because air signs and fire signs are very similar. Like in Aries are very similar to Gemini, as in Aries are kind of impulsive. They don't really think through things before they do it. Geminis kind of move through life, or kind of speak and communicate and talk through life, not really thinking through as in planning the repercussions of their actions, but they just like to experience things, but they do it in a more free-flowing, quick-witted, quick-thinking way. So their mind is really extremely quick-witted and quick-thinking on how they do things and move. So if you're like an earth, if you have a lot of earth energy in your chart, a lot of water energy in your chart, and water and earth strive stability and stagnation and being able to know what's going to be there, and they're kind of mundane in how they move. They're not really open to trying new things all the time because they really care about their stability and their safety. If you're more water and air, understand that working with a Gemini or trying to get with a Gemini energy X person, you have to understand how they work so you won't get yourself tied up, basically. That's the whole thing of this, is knowing how other people maneuver in this world, knowing how other people work, how they think, how they move, allows you to know how you can interact with them and know how to either put your feelings in too heavy or just like keep it light, keep your friendship live, keep it lighthearted. But one thing I do hear a lot about this placement, or about Gemini energy, is that they can't be monogamous. They always need variety. They're really like the polygamous type of people. Now, this is true on the surface with generally Gemini energy on surface. The way that their mind works and how curious they are, they do love variety, and they do love to be, they do thrive not always being monogamous, being one person. But that goes into your birth chart. Let's say you're a Gemini sun, but you have like a Venus in Cancer or a Venus in Pisces. That obviously makes you more susceptible to being open to like the monogamous kind of energy. But Gemini energy in general on the surface thrives in variety, thrives in being or doing different things at one time. They need to be able to multitask. They need to be able to be mutable. They need to be able to change their environment or change
I
how
was
they
gonna
move,
make a
change
trail so you can make your car in
personality,
here.
change their way of thinking, a way of talking in different situations, because they need to thrive in that mutable kind of energy. So understand Geminis being mutable. Understand Geminis being curious, how much they love to study, how much they love to learn and ask questions. Extremely intelligent, extremely smart. You yourself Dealing
Not
with
as a
Gemini
child.
energy,
Ah,
you
okay.
have to know how to use your mind to be able to communicate, to be able to problem solve, and to ask questions. Like the mental for them is everything. They're not really big on how you look and the looks factor of things. They're not really big on like the materialness, the material factor of nature like Taurus energy is, but they are huge on the communication, the mental, the curiosity, the free flowing, the experiencing of just being able to do things and be free in life, not being stagnant and stuck in a box and stuck in a stagnation kind of energy. So overall, Gemini energy, understand that about yourself is you have to keep your mind moving. You have to always be curious about things. You have to be studying things. You
I have
love
no
to
idea what we're making.
in different situations. Understanding dealing with a Gemini person in the beginning, give them space, be free with them, be lighthearted with them. Don't bombard them with emotional heaviness. Don't be too heavy on them emotionally. But understand how if you're also curious about life and free flowing about life and wants to experience life and are questioning life and wants to study and talk and so be social about life, if you're also free flowing in that way, y'all will work extremely well with each other. So that was my video on Gemini energy. I hope y'all enjoyed that. My next video is going to be on the Cancer energy, and you already know I'm about to go in. If you have subscribed to my channel, appreciate all y'all for real, you already know. But if you still have...
All right, so yeah, he did Aries, and he was pretty accurate about it. I'm an Aries rising, so I really related. I want to hear his Taurus one, because I didn't know he did Taurus already. He's going in order, it sounds like. I'm just curious. It's like 21 minutes.
YouTuber, welcome to my channel.
Bingo.
It's your boy, Flo.
Yeah, like space for you. I definitely know you love talking. It's like in your childhood, maybe you didn't because you were very curious, but you wanted to sort of like, because another thing about Gemini, it's not like Geminis all want to talk a lot. They're either really, really big talkers or they're really big thinkers. So it's either you're the side of the thinker or you're the side of the talker. But both can also coexist. So you can kind of go back and forth. Like the talkers could also think about stuff too, but they probably also, Gemini, I would say Gemini first house people are more like, they're not so much talking so much, like they'll talk, but they're like more like, like this is what I know. I want to say something to fill the silence. So they're just going to say things to say things. I would say that's more Gemini first house, second house, maybe ish. Versus like maybe third, fourth house might be more like they want to talk to other people or have something said. But I would say Gemini fourth house folks, they want to listen more. They want to hear what everyone else is saying before they come up with their own opinions. They might have had a mother that sort of was a talker and they just were used to being the listener and learning from their mom and maybe mimicking that like sort of behavior as well. Fifth house Gemini are very creative people. They usually are extremely good writers. I know one that's a very good writer. They might overwrite sometimes, but they do write a lot. Writer Geminis are the best kind of Geminis. I had a friend that was a Gemini that was a great writer. She just was amazing. She was a Scorpio rising, so I don't remember where Gemini's. So Scorpio first house. So I'm trying to think. Okay, so Scorpio, then it's Sagittarius. Then it's Cap, Aquarius, Pisces in the fifth house. So Pisces in fifth house for her. So when she wrote, she just makes her imagination so vast that she would like write really extremely well, imaginative and very like immersive stories. Like you would literally feel like you're in the story. That's her fifth house Pisces coming out. And I'm trying to think where, so that means Gemini would be, so it's Pisces is in the fifth house, so sixth house is Aries, sixth house Aries, seventh house would be Taurus, and then finally eighth house would be Gemini, I believe. So for her, she because she was a Scorpio rising, she had a tendency to be someone that would investigate. She would really investigate a lot. She had like ability to like track people who were stalking her. She had a lot of stalkers, and that's what happens with a lot of Scorpio risings. They end up having a lot of stalkers, and so she was stalked a lot by people because of what she says. She's very honest and blunt. She doesn't care. She'll just say what she thinks and doesn't care how people react to it. And then when people try to use it against her, she'll like dox them. Like she used to dox them. She was crazy. All right, I love her to death, but I was like, I know never to mess with her because she could literally find out where you live. That's how, yeah, she could really dox you. I think you would have liked her though. She's very honest and very pragmatic. We got along really well, and she talks a lot. She'll probably talk your ear off, but she talks a lot. And so, like, I always told her that I have an easier time voice memoing because I talk a lot too. And I type a lot too, but I have a hard time typing everything and it making sense. So I like to say it, but then again, I ramble. That's why I do stream, because it gives me excuse to ramble. That's literally why. But then I'll be playing games and I'm like, what do I talk about? You know, it's like, that's why I love when you're here, because it's like you encourage me to like talk more. That's what I love about Gemini. They're really great listeners, great talkers. They get you thinking. You know, they're very great motivators. I'm a simper of my Geminis, because I've only dealt with like maybe a few bad Geminis, but even they were pretty funny, even if they were bad. Like I had one Gemini acquaintance or classmate that I really liked, but she ended up just not being a good person. But because she was so likable, it was like, dang, like I wish if you were just a good person, I'd be your friend, but like you're not really a good person. You're just really fun to talk to, and I just know to not get close to them. Just say whatever. Don't tell her your personal business, but you can talk about whatever. She just wasn't a very good person, so that was the only bad thing. But this was years ago. I haven't talked to her in years, but like I've only had really one or two bad experiences with Gemini. And even then they weren't even that bad. They were just like, oh, they just gossip too much, or oh, they lie a lot, you know, compulsive lying. That has something to do with Mercury's rulership a little bit, because there's always a good and bad in every sign. So when people show the bad, it's usually lying, fraud, scamming, cheating is part of the type of stuff that's Mercury's like bad traits. Where if Mercury is badly placed or someone is a scam artist, I say you look at a chart of a scam artist, you want to go and look at their Mercury placement, because the bad side of Mercury is fraud and scamming. So you'd want to know what their condition of that, and it could explain why they do what they do a little bit. Like it gives you kind of like a idea. So just because someone has Mercury badly aspect doesn't mean they're a scam artist. But if they were a scam artist, you would then pay attention to what's going on with Mercury and pay attention to the bad traits. But again, not every person with Mercury is a scam artist. Just because there's bad trait doesn't mean everyone embodies those traits. And I've known way more Gemini that are more morally, like they're more not so much trickstery. I mean, they're a trickster, but it's not like in a way where it's terrible. You know what I mean? It's like playful, like with friends. But definitely, if they were, it can be used for bad, but not all of them do that. So, I mean, I don't, but yeah. But anyway, let's listen to Taurus, because Taurus is very fun. I know you like the Taurus. Just kidding.
Video for y'all. In this video right here, we're going to be talking about Taurus energy. And I'll pause for the cause. If you're a new subscriber, if you're just starting off your journey.
Looks good, Bubs.
Self-knowledge,
I'll start another card.
Through astrology, through learning about your birth chart. If you don't know how to read your birth chart, nobody put you on as to why it's so important to understand yourself, to love yourself, and to know yourself through astrology and numerology. Don't worry, I got you. There's a couple of videos. I'll put the link in the description.
I just could not get along with Taurus. Yep.
So you can get to the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about.
See what he's got to talk about them.
So, all right, boom. So we're going to be talking about Taurus energy. This is going to be a part 2 of my Through the Energy series. So without further ado, let's just get it pop and shout.
This is just me, but this is like
Taurus energy.
brown.
Before I start this video, we're going to notice as I go through each sign,
big car.
I'm going to try and correlate how the zodiac astrology correlates to the human experience in life, as in the cycle, the way that the astrology wheel goes into circle, kind of characterizes how the human life experiences go into circle. For an example, my last video of this series was Aries. Aries is the baby, the beginning cycle, the first sign, so it's the baby cycle of our human experience. Taurus, which is this video, is a toddler, and I'll explain deeply why the toddler really emphasizes what the Taurus energy is. The next video, which is Gemini, is going to be like the stage like a preschooler, the stage when they
Oh
first begin to
no.
start making sentences, and what is like at that stage in your life, being in preschool, what do you do the most during that stage of life is be curious, ask questions, talk all the time. So that's kind of like that Gemini-esque energy. So understand that, like I say in a lot of my videos, everything when it comes to astrology and numerology, it ties into our life in general. It's like a spider web. Everything connects. Nothing is of coincidence. So understand that our human life cycle, and for those
Oh, we're over time too. Damn.
we are all spiritual beings living in
Well, we'll finish this one because
astrology wheel, the 12 signs kind of give us like the 12 steps of the human experience, if that makes sense. So understand that everything is spiderweb, everything connects. Astrology connects to human life cycles. All right, so boom. Like I said, Aries, the baby, the beginning life cycle, kind of selfish, kind of they need what they need and need it now. Now, why
I'm gonna get.
Taurus is the toddler. Now, first
All right,
of all,
Bubby's hungry again, so give me like one moment, and then we'll keep listening. We'll finish this video, and then I'll probably end the stream because I'm going over time. But give me just like 3 minutes. It shouldn't take long. So.
Come on, Mommy. We'll put these apples on these two rolls. Oh, joke!
All right, I'm back.
For Taurus is I have. Now, when you think about a toddler, what usually comes to mind when you think about a toddler? Either you think about a child in the playpen or on the ground because they're crawling, but they're surrounded by what? A lot of their toys. And what happens when you like touch a toddler's toys, when you touch a baby's toys, they start wilding out, they start crying, they start going crazy. So the mantra is I have. In the human life cycle, in the human experience cycle in astrology, Taurus represents the toddler, which is the I have. So Taurus energy in general.
Okay, this is so true. Sounds like my brother. My brother was so like this. He's a Taurus. Welcome back. I like how these compared him to toddlers. It's true though. Taurus are like toddlers. My brother was so like, I remember this thing. We don't let him live it down, but my brother, he when he was little, he was really, really picky as a eater. And so he likes his tacos with just cheese and meat on them from Taco Bell. And there was a little bit of lettuce in it. And so when he went to go check to see if there wasn't lettuce in it, there was like one piece of lettuce. He was like maybe like 10 at this time. He had like the worst temper tantrum. He just flipped the F out. Like he was just so mad. Like he's like, they gotta have it. It's like going insane. And we were all like, Quint or Vaughn or Brent, whatever his name is, calm down. Like, come on now. I remember feeling like he was being over dramatic. So Yeah, I don't have room for this one now. But yeah, that made me think about that. I was like, oh yeah, my brother was such a drama king. Like growing up, like he was very much always dramatic about everything. I just wanted to talk about that.
It's all about, not all about, but rules like the possessions of things. Like we know, the second house is the house of our possessions, our values, things that we personally own ourselves. And you already know Taurus, the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio, so that's like the other people's money, shared possessions, and all the other things when it comes to outside of ourselves, but also has to do with possessions and values. So Taurus energy rules possessions and values. So toddlers have toys. Toddlers always have toys around them. That's their possession. That's their prized possession. Toddlers always have a lot of toys around them, and they really like hold dear to their heart their toys. They go to sleep with it. Like they really care about their possessions like that. So now, not saying that that's the only thing Taurus cares about, but Taurus energy generally rules possessions. Now, why is that? As we know, for the basics, just for those who don't know, just to get over the basics real quick, Taurus energy, Taurus is an earth sign. Earth sign meaning things of this realm that we see and touch. Taurus is a fixed sign, and as we already know, fixed signs are the most stubborn of the zodiac. We have 4 fixed signs. Taurus is the fixed earth. Aquarius is a fixed air. Leo is fixed fire, and then we have Scorpio, which is fixed water. Now, fixed means it's fixated and it does not move unless it wants to move. It's laser focused on one thing, and it's really traditional in a way, as in it does what it does in its own way, and fixed. So fixed, you could say, is stubborn. Aries is stubborn too, but Aries is more stubborn as in just wants to do things with no thought and adrenaline. Kind of just wants to move quickly without really doing things in a way or not listening. But Taurus energy is stubborn as in it's very stable and steady in its way. As we already know, like I said in my last video, when it comes to Taurus energy part 1, Taurus is ruled by the planet, by the animal of the bull. And when you look out in nature and look what the bull does, the bull is just a big animal that likes to. The bull is a very violent animal. By looking at it, like, yo, this animal is big, the horns, it looks intimidating. By just looking at it, but when you leave a bull alone, does it walk?
Yeah, like some weird.
Does it walk around like trying to knock things down by itself? No, it just likes to chill, be in nature, eat what it eats, drink what it drinks, and just like gaze in the sun, and just relax and chill. Not until the matadors, or whoever just thought about bull riding, whoever thought about the concept of trying to make a bull mad on purpose for entertainment values, which is actually pretty funny, but then extremely dangerous at the same time. Not until like we thought about trying to be funny and poke the bear, poke the bull, is when you see the anger come out in the bull. So bull naturally likes to chill and relax, not until you provoke it, when the anger comes out, like with the red flag, like I said in my first video. So Taurus rules the bull. Taurus is a fixed sign. Now, the possessions part. The reason why Taurus really cares about possessions, and they have a stigma saying that Taurus's energy, Tauruses are like gold diggers, or Tauruses are materialistic. They're not materialistic in the way as in that's all they think about is money. All they think about is brand name clothes, the high class food, high fashion this. Like they don't really only think about that, but that's not their main focus. But they have the stigma for being materialistic is because earth signs, earth energy is a material realm. Second house is our possessions. The Torah mantra is I have. Taurus is the toddler, so they really care about the possessions, but it's more about the security. Like I said, the bull, when they're in the wild, they care about the security, as in they're stable, they chilling, they got food over here, they got water over here, they're chilling, they're serene, they're in nature, they're relaxing, they're secure. Taurus energy in your chart shows you what you need to be secure within yourself, which is also your values, not only materialism and money and possessions, but also your values. But it's all about being secure. So in this world that we live in, as we are human, as we are spiritual creatures, spiritual beings, living a human experience, and being a human on the planet Earth means that we have to indulge in the materialness of this world. And the biggest way to be secure in this reality, in this world, is by having money, obviously. Because
speaking of that, I actually follow a YouTuber that is a Taurus. They're actually Taurus stellium. They actually are semi into astrology. They're not like into like deeply, but they know their sun, moon, rising, and they said they had mentioned they had a Taurus stellium. There's Taurus Sun. I don't remember what planets that were in Taurus, but I do know their big three, which is trying to think. It's Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Gemini rising. So yeah, these transits are gonna really affect them too, and they are very how do I explain it? Very stubborn. And they are very materialistic. Like, I think he was just being nice. Like, oh, it's not like they're all like that, which is true. I actually know more humble, like Taurus folks that aren't. But even if they're not materialistic, they're into something. They're into something. They're into practicality. They like the routine. They like the good food. They like things to feel good and to feel right. You know, like they don't want to be intimidated by other people, and like that's just not how they are. Like they're like, well, no, we just want the, you know, to live life, you know, just for fun or for like relaxation. They know where the best restaurants are. I mean, that's what I like about Taurus, is they seem to know what's going on half the time. But at the same time, I can understand why some people can't stand them, because they're so stuck in their ways. They're not willing to change or adapt to their environment. They expect everyone else to change for them, but they're not really realistic about, you know, how they are seen as well. So but yeah, like I definitely know some that are, they really like good food. Like they know good food, they eat a lot. They can come off as lazy a little bit because they just want to chill. They want to relax. They want to feel good. They want to go on vacation. They want to like enjoy the things around them, especially. And if they're not like materialistic, they're earthy. So as in like they're very much in nature. Like maybe they care about the environment. Maybe they like to hike. Maybe they like to go to places where they have animals displayed, or where beautiful flowers, or like maybe they want to go you know, if they are explorers, like a Taurus ninth house person may go out and study like nature, you know, like they might be like nature biologist or something. Like that screams to me Taurus ninth house, or Taurus like Jupiter, Taurus like someone who goes out and travels and exploring the natural world. So yeah, it's not just materialism, is also just in general the world around them. So they have very much unique interests in that. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Money gives freedom. Money gives you worry, lets you become worry free, as in where your next meal is going to come from, or if the rent is going to be paid, or if your mortgage is going to be paid. So the materials of this world is or being stable in this world is knowing, is having a lot of material, monetary possessions. So that's where the stigma of Tauruses are materialistic, Tauruses are gold diggers. That's where that comes from. That stems from. But truly understanding Taurus energy knows that the whole key to what their materialness or their possessiveness or their I have-ness is coming from is them being stable and secure. Can't be stable and secure in an earth realm, materialistic realm, without having materials and resources. So resources is what makes them stable and secure. Like I said, the toddlers have a lot of toys. A lot of Tauruses have a lot of things that make them feel secure and as stable within themselves. So understand that to be with a Taurus person, to truly understand Taurus energy, to understand a Taurus person, is to know how important and how heightened traditional values, tradition is to Taurus energy. Like I said before, Taurus is a fixed sign. It does not like to move. Once it has its mindset on something, it stays with it, and it actually gradually grows onto it until it actually achieves what it wants to achieve. Which is also why another stigma for Tauruses, as Taurus energy especially, is that they're lazy, they don't like to work, they just like to sleep a lot, they like to eat food all the time, they just love pleasures of life, like good food, good sex, good energy. All of that is very true on the surface of things, but generally speaking, Taurus energy likes to do all these things, but it's all about being secure and stable within themselves. So to know Taurus energy, to get with a Taurus person, is to understand that how much they value tradition, how they're fixed in their ways, and how they are steady and slow to moving. Slow to moving means that they have to make sure that what they're doing, what they're walking into, the decisions they're making, the person they're going to be with, the person they're going to marry, that is going to be a good decision for them, because once they make a decision, they're going to be fixated on that decision, and they're going to carry it out and carry it through. Aries, on the other hand, the sign before this, they don't really care about being slow to moving and making sure that the next step is the most important step. They're just ready to experience it. They're ready to get that adrenaline rush. They're ready to experience it. So now, to understand the Taurus energy, to understand Taurus people, is to know that they are slow to moving and very patient. So that's why, low key, on the surface, it might look like a Taurus person very reserved, very quiet, very to themselves, very stubborn, very snotty, very stuck up, as in like, because they're always by themselves, or they're always reserved and not really engaging at
Including my
first,
sis,
especially
yes.
when you first meet them. This is because a Taurus energy, Taurus person is wanting to know what they're about to dip their toe into. They want to see they want to see their environment. They want to make themselves familiar with their environment. Familiarity is very important for Taurus energy. You want to make sure that, okay, I've seen these people around before. I've seen this environment before. I've seen that person many times before. I'm watching them. Can I trust them? Are they loyal as I am? Like, they really want to make sure their next step is going to be a solid step. They walk step by step, making sure their next one is solid, not just running and going, run and gun kind of thing. So knowing them is to know that they are very stable, they are very patient. So don't try to rush an interaction with them. Don't try to look at them and judge them firsthand as in they're being snotty or standoffish because they're not really engaging like that. Understand that in their mind, the way that their mind calculates and the way that their energy computes things is to make sure their environment is stable and steady, to make sure what they're doing is logical, stable, and steady before they jump in. But once they become familiar with you, once they become familiar with the environment, once that familiarity gives them a sense of security, as in, okay, I'm safe here, everything is good here, then you will see how they become engaging, and then you will really experience Taurus energy. Now, what does Taurus energy feel like? Taurus is ruled by Venus. I forgot to mention before. Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, things that are sensual, things that are beautiful, smell good, taste good.
Okay.
Venus is like that feel good, look good energy, that goddess type energy for women. So understand that. What does Taurus energy feel like when you're around them? Taurus
Attachment
is an
to
earth
it?
sign, so nature. Whenever you feel like anxiety, whenever you have a lot of things going on in your mind, whenever you're going through problems in life in general, they always suggest to go out in nature, put your feet on the ground, go to the ocean, go to the water, go out in nature. Why do they say nature kind of gives you that grounding energy? Taurus, ruled by the earth sign, Taurus like the goddess of the forest. Taurus energy is like that nature kind of vibration. It grounds you. Being around Taurus people, Taurus energy, you will notice how much they just exude that nature-esque type, grounding type energy. They're really solid and stable in themselves. They really care about themselves and value themselves as a person, so they're a rock within themselves. So they can't move, you can't move them. And they're not trying to push you and move you to do something you don't want to do either. It's just how you feel that when you're around them, which is why a lot of times Taurus energy really attracts like a lot of fire signs and air signs, because air signs and fire signs need grounding. They're always moving. They're always doing something. They're constantly nonstop. So they need the grounding. And Taurus energy brings that. At the same time, Taurus energy could be too grounded or too stable, too stuck in their ways, too traditional, which is not a bad thing, but it is a bad thing when you realize that you're not really moving. You're just staying in that same kind of energy. You don't have like a spark to do something different. That's what fire signs and air signs give the Taurus energy, which is like a spark, a jolt of energy, like a spark of change, something being different. Like I said in a video before about Taurus and Scorpio, the two signs are the same axis. They're two signs, two different signs on the same axis. So they're like two different sides of the same coin. Taurus is very stable and steady to moving. Scorpio is more intense and more into experiencing change and like becoming different through transformation. So what Taurus gives Scorpio is a sense of stability. What Scorpio gives Taurus is a sense of change, being different. So understand how important it is being traditional, how important it is being fixated and fixed it is for Taurus energy to be. But also understand, if you have a lot of Taurus energy, especially if you have like a Taurus South node like myself, if you have a Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising, or a loaded second house, when you have a lot of Taurus energy in your chart, understand that yes, you will be stable, but understand how hard it is for you to get outside of that comfort zone, to get outside of that unfamiliarity zone, to do something different, until you actually take your long ass time to really make sure what you're going to do is what you want to do. So understand how hard it is for y'all to or for Taurus energy to do something different or to move or to get outside that comfort zone, because Taurus just wants to be stuck and stable in its fixated tradition, fixated environment. So knowing the Taurus person, knowing
Hey,
Taurus energy,
fun.
understand that about themselves, understand that
Making
about them.
random stuff with
Don't try
Quinn.
to rush them. Don't try to push them. If you're trying to get with a Taurus person, you're not gonna rush into commitment. You're not gonna rush into the bedroom. Like Taurus women, especially, are not the type to just open it up and wide, open it up, bust it open wide for you. Like at the first night, they normally don't do that. They normally want to make sure that, all right, before I give myself to you, before we become
Like this,
intimate,
puppies?
before
Like
we
this?
become a thing, can I trust you? Are you loyal? Like I said in my
In my
first
lunch
video
break.
with the Taurus
Nice.
energy,
G, your
loyalty,
lunch?
trust is very important because they are loyal and trustworthy
Ye
within
wings?
themselves. So if they attach themselves to you, they want to make sure you are loyal and trust. So if you're the type to promise things, yeah, we're gonna do this day, and then you don't follow through on your promises, and think you're gonna brush it over and promise something else, and the Taurus is just gonna go along with it. Every single thing you promise,
can
every
join now.
single thing you do, they're watching and they're
Just
paying
keep it on the
attention to
charger,
see
okay?
if you're gonna be loyal enough,
Bubby's
if you're gonna
phone
be
turned
trustworthy
back
enough,
on.
if you're gonna be steady enough for me to actually indulge in it with you, kind of thing. So understand how important it is for tradition for Taurus energy.
10 calories, whatever, Vaughn. There's enough for you.
Taurus energy. Let's say how important it is for stability and resources for Taurus energy, which is why let's say if you're a man trying to get with a Taurus woman, or if you're the masculine energy trying to get with the feminine Taurus energy, feminine energy Taurus, feminine Taurus energy, they're traditional as in the way as in they care about their security and stability. So for Taurus, a woman can really take care of themselves, buy nice things for themselves, really indulge in the goodness of life by themselves, and you're trying to get with them. They want to make sure you could do that for yourself first, and you could do that for me. Because if you can't do that for me at the same time, there's no need for me to stop what I'm doing to get with you. If that makes sense. Understand how important resources and stability is, and the pleasures of life is for Taurus energy. If they can give themselves the good life, and you're trying to get with them, they
Oh,
want
he's
to make
here
sure
now.
you can give them the good life that they can give themselves already. It's not like they're gold digging or they're looking for money or they really care about how much money you got or how rich you are.
There we
They
go,
care
Bubs.
about how much stability you bring on the table, because they themselves bring stability on the table. Stability, security, resources I have is the pinnacle of Taurus energy. Understand that. So to wrap it all up, like I said, Taurus is a toddler. Toddlers have a lot of toys. Taurus energy has a lot of possessions. They get security and they get stability through knowing the possessions they have in life, because they could work really hard when it comes to money, and they reward themselves with the pleasures of life. Taurus energy, Venus energy loves pleasure. So like I said, good food, good sex, good company, good conversation. They just love the pleasures of life. But overall, it's the security of this reality. To be secure in this reality, to be secure in this materialistic realm, is to have material things. So don't think that they're materialistic in a vain way, which can also be true, especially when you're the younger Taurus or the dark side of Taurus. Like I said, there's a light side and a dark side to every sign. Don't think it's vain as in they're materialistic in that kind of way, but they're materialistic in the way of security. They're materialistic in the way of they want to see. They want things that are seen and it can be touched and can be felt. They want things that are visually seen, because they are stable and they are earth signs or earth energy, Taurus energy. And if you have a lot of Taurus energy within you, understand how stable you are, but also understand how hard it is for you to jump out of your comfort zone, to jump out of, or to do things, to move a little quicker when you're not fully comfortable. And it takes a long time for y'all to be fully comfortable before you do something. So just keep that in mind, especially when you're in environments. Like, understand that you're really slow to moving. So people around you might look at you like, why is that person so to themselves at the time? Why is that person not really moving like that? Because they're not fully comfortable. So keep that in mind if you have this placement that you want to, I'm not going to say you want to rush yourself to be fully comfortable, but understand that you are really, you take a really long time to be comfortable in situations, to be familiar in situations before you move. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to get with a Taurus person, like I said in that first video, the way the women try to flirt, or the way the women try to get you to date them, is they put themselves in situations, they put themselves around you.
Want me to go bed too?
For you to holler at them, to be with them. They're not the type to come up to you and be like, hey, my name is this. Like, they're like Venus goddess. Like, they're like the Venusian energy. So they say, like, look at me, look how I look. You should be with me because of what I look like, what I possess, what I smell like, how I walk, how sensual I am. They kind of put themselves in positions for you to come like go at them. But when you get with them, don't rush it. Don't try to like rush a commitment. Show them how loyal you are. Show them how responsible you are. Show them how secure within yourself and secure as in being security materialistic wise you are. And you realize how much Taurus energy gives you that nature feeling, which is that grounding feeling, that sensual feeling, that homely feeling, like when they cook for you, that homely nature type feeling. You will experience that with Taurus energy. So that's my video on Taurus energy. Hope y'all enjoyed that. My next video is gonna be on the preschoolers.
Oh, nice. So yeah, breakup, BRB. Oh, okay, you're back. Oh, back. Okay, so my thoughts on what he said. It's so true. Taurus people are very slow. That might be why I don't have a lot of Taurus people in my life, because I am the opposite of what he just said. Like, okay, so another of my friends is now Quinn's not a Taurus person, but Quinn has Capricorn ruling his second house, and he has both his Mars and Pluto in there. And so when he was going through his second perfection year, which was when he turned 1, during that year, he was very possessive with his toys. Like, he'd get really upset when he was a little imp that his toys weren't there. He had to have his toys in his bed with him since I think he was 1. Like, he was obsessed with having his toys there. Now, Taurus rules his sixth house, I think. And so, yeah, it rules his 6th house. So in order for his routine is all about things around him, and like he's very much into toys, very much into obsessions, but he is a 2nd house Capricorn person. So usually, you know, in that perspective, he is someone who really has security over his toys. Like, he sleeps with his toy every night. He puts them all around him. Me and Bond like sometimes take it off his bed, but like he'll literally put like toys all over him, and he'll lay on his toys. I'm like, Quinn, that's so uncomfortable. Yes. He's very much that. And he doesn't even have to have Taurus the 2nd house. He has Capricorn 2nd house with Mars and Pluto there. So that also indicates a very sense of strong drive and for materialism. Like, he really does like stuff. Even and Capricorn's also Earth sign too. So, and Capricorns are naturally very disciplined, ambitious people usually. Not all of them, obviously. But that he has his incentive is toys, treats. You know, like that's how I get him to eat dinner sometimes, is for him to eat that. And Taurus rules the 6th house, so it also manifests the fact that Taurus ruling his 6th house, he's always constantly thinking about toys, and he needs like a constant structure that needs to be consistent. Otherwise, he'll go insane. So that's why I like keeping him in school, because it like that structure is able to kind of stabilize him, and so he doesn't get in everything. So so that's why I like him being in school. He needs that. He needs something to do. He can't stay home all the time. Because he doesn't mind doing it, but he kind of just doesn't like to. He's just a lot when he stays home for long periods of time. It's like, quit, please calm down, get a chill pill. He's like, though, as you can tell, he's right here being cute and fuzzy. Right, my puppies?
Yes.
He says yes. Anyway, so yeah, so that was interesting. I don't know how much more do you want to stay up, Stace? I know it's getting kind of late. Bon, I'm assuming he went back to work. But yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. What time is it? Yeah, it's pretty late, so I gotta get Bubby ready for bed. So yeah, Space, thank you for hanging out with me. And yeah, and I hope to see you next time. I'm not sure exactly when we're gonna stream again. I hope to stream tomorrow, but don't guarantee it on the morning. It's probably gonna be the same time. But if you need to sleep or anything, that's fine. But I'll message you on Whispers if that makes it easier for you to catch my streams, because it might just be a Twitch thing that's going on right now. So if that's easier for you to just say, hey, wait for a whisper for me. If you seem to get those, then I could do that instead to let you know. But otherwise, I'll